Amazing.
Good. Okay, so welcome everybody. We will get started. This is our 9th sisterhood session, and oh boy, oh sisters, you are in for a treat. The Sisterhood is a collective of thriving women who are on a mission for higher health. Each week, we select a theme and we curate an amazing list of speakers to speak to that topic, and we choose one speaker per pillar of higher health, so mindset, movement, and micronutrients. Ooh, whose beep was that? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Today, our wisdom sharing sisters and brother are Dr. Stephen Dewit, sexologist, author, speaker, and sex coach, Ann Petty, energy medicine and Reiki practitioner, and myself, Dr. Tara Campbell, and naturopathic doctor and founder of Higher Health. We are joined by a few of our other special sisters today, so if you could just give a wave. We have Janice Vanderwood, our human potential coach, Dr. Kira Taylor, our naturopathic doctor at Higher Health, Olga Berdnikova with the blue gloves representing from the office, and Lisa Novambra, our Ashtanga yoga practitioner. And Anne, I introduced you before, but give a wave, and Stephen, Dr. Stephen, give a wave. So we have a few special gifts for you, which I will announce at the end of the session. So stay on for that. Make sure you do. It's a really good one. And anyone who, just a reminder, if you can type it in the chat line, have you seen our YouTube channel? So this is where we post all of our recordings. So if you didn't know about that YouTube channel, we will post that in the chat line. So just copy the link and save, and you can watch any of the recordings from any of our previous 9 sessions. Okay. Without further ado, are you ready to talk sexology, energy, and hormones? Give a little, we're ready, or put a high five. We should have I'm Too Sexy playing now. Give a high five in the chat line if you're excited for this talk. So each week, I'm excited for this part, I pick one special sister to share 3 words in line with our topic. And I always have fun picking who that person should be. And without hesitation, for this topic, it was Olga Berdnikova, our amazing office manager at Higher Health. And I'll share a little funny story for why I chose Olga for this. So we had a meeting a long time ago. It was maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, let's say. And I was enjoying some dark chocolate. And I said, Olga, would you like some chocolate? And she said, no, thanks. I don't like chocolate, actually. And what I heard was, I only like chocolate sexually. So I said to her, oh, with a straight face, oh, you only like chocolate sexually. I couldn't believe that's what she was telling me. But no, I don't like chocolate actually. So that was a little giggle for both of us, and I hope for you as well. All right, so Olga, will you share your 3 words in line with sexology and hormone health with us?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My 3 words for today's session are nourishment, bond, and life. So for nourishment, I kind of wanted to start with just one person perspective. So it would be nourishment for one's body and soul. Bond is the special bond between the 2 people, and life is what comes after, which is procreation. So it's one person, 2 people, and then there's something bigger after that.
That's amazing. So nourishment, bond, and what was the 3rd one?
Life.
Life. Awesome.
Which stands for procreation.
Wow. And then for all of you, you can participate and put any words in the chat line that you think of when you think of hormone health, sexology, and this topic. Okay. We thought we'd start with the mindset portion, not mindset, movement portion. So I want to introduce you to someone who many of you may know already. Ann Petty is our energy medicine practitioner, Reiki practitioner, and someone who, if you've met Ann, you will love Ann. the minute she speaks. So you met her a few weeks back for tree therapy, and that was just a glimpse into Anne and her amazing personality and her Dharma and Greg life. Okay, introduction to Anne and what we will be talking about. Has anybody ever done energy medicine? Have you experienced it? So Anne does in person, but she also does remote, which is fascinating, the stories that I've heard and even my family who's experienced it. So Anne, I'm going to read what you shared with us before. The energies of love are profound and essential to maintaining healthy relationships. For centuries, energy modalities for health and well-being have taught us how to connect and create flow with these frequencies in order to create meaningful and intimate connections with those we love. These tools are easy and simple to understand and implement. Anne is a Reiki master and an Eden energy medicine certified practitioner. From childhood, she has had an innate ability to interact with the energetic field or unified field of energy that is all around us. Being able to combine her unique intuitive guidance with different energy practices has been incredibly rewarding. We love Anne as a key sister for mindset and movement. She runs a private practice and loves teaching her clients the language of energy. And so today we will be exploring energy medicine applied to hormone health and sexology. I can tell you personally, I experienced energy medicine with Anne for when I was really struggling with adrenal fatigue and total burnout. And then I just loved that experience so much that when I was pregnant, or even before when I was wanting to get pregnant and during pregnancy and then leading into birth, which I was terrified about, I saw Anne and it was just incredible how she helped me through those experiences and made me really excited for all of them. And she texted me the day I went into labor, so she intuitively knew. So Anne, I will move you to speaker view, and we are excited to listen to you teach us about energy medicine.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tara. I am so thrilled to be here with all these wonderful sisters and of course our special brother today. So fun. I'm really looking forward to hearing Stephen speak. So let's just dive into this wonderful world of energy. Some of you have maybe explored with energy medicine, and for some of you it may be brand new. But ultimately what we're doing is we're learning how to connect and communicate with our bodies through energy. Instead of thinking of ourselves as these solid brick and mortar beings, think of yourself not particle, but more in terms of being a wave. You are a vibration. We are just more densely organized energies. And when we learn how to communicate with those energies, magic abounds. We can be in control. We can be in communication with our own health and help direct our energies so that we can enjoy life to its maximum. So what a wonderful way to explore enjoyment than through sex, right? So I think the first place, I'm going to do 3 energy exercises, and they each connect with different energy systems. And the first place I think we need to start is with love. We need to connect with the energy of love, because that is part and parcel of our sexuality and that ability to connect with others and also self-love. So I think intuitively most people know that we want to connect with the sensation of love. That is at our heart. And I don't know if you can see me, but I'm holding my hands over my heart center. So if we're speaking about the energy centers or the chakras, which a lot of you might be familiar with, the 4th one is our heart chakra, and that is where we connect. When we get the energies flowing in this center, that is how we can extend ourselves, extend the invitation of connection to other people around us. Also, when we open the heart chakra and really get energies flowing in this area, it turns on the hormone of oxytocin, the hormone of bonding, the hormone of connecting. So when you're working with these energy centers or chakras, you are also working very intimately with your endocrine system and specific hormones. So it helps you with every physical, emotional, and spiritually. It's holistic. Chakras are these swirling vortexes of energy. They picture it sort of like a cone with the apex deep inside of you, and it's broadening and coming out away from you, this swirling energy. And our chakras house our stories, and by extending out into our energetic field, they also help with our expression. This is how people know what they're going to get when they interact with us. So by opening heart center, focusing on love, we are extending an invitation to that other person we want to communicate with, to invite them in and to open their heart center as well. So we're going to start with a really easy exercise. In energy medicine, our tools are our hands, which act like magnets within our electromagnetic field. And the other tool we use is our radiant imagination. So let's go ahead and put our hands over our heart center. This is where we're going to connect with that loving vibration, expression of love. And I just want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think of something that gets you to a place of love, just like that. For me, it's picturing hugging my baby girl, who is now 12. But there's something so intimate about that. I just think about that, and it takes me immediately to love and opens me wide up. For you might be being in a particular place, a particular time, being with another person. But all of you, I'm sure, have that go-to place that you can conjure up in your mind's eye to get that love energy vibing. So let's just put our hands over our heart center. And I'm going to invite people to take 5 deep breaths while we're holding our hands there. And engage your radiant imagination and draw in that picture that allows you to bring those sensations of love right to the forefront. Allow those sensations of love to bathe every cell in your body. This is a wonderful way to prime your day, to start with that feeling of love and emanate it within your electromagnetic field. Picture that spiral growing out from you, expanding. You can make it any color you want. My go-to color is gold with sparkles, alive, awake, activated. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Wonderful. Now what we're going to do is we're going to expand that opening from our heart down to our second chakra. I hope you guys can see me. The second chakra, the second energy, is above pubic bone but below the belly button. This is where our sexuality is housed. This is where our sensuality is housed. And the second chakra is also where we form connections in relationships with other people. So we want to wake up the second energy center as well. I invite you to put one hand there, bring in color. Let's do another 5, 6 breaths. And with each breath, I want you to expand the spark. Expand that energy center. Give it color, give it texture, give it movement. Tune in and feel. By opening the second energy chakra, you are allowing all the reproductive organs to be produced in harmony and in proper balance and flow. Now that these two energy centers are nice and open, really cool technique is let's make the two talk to each other. We want our heart and our sexuality to connect, to help us. So in the language of energy, energy doesn't necessarily just speak English. Energy communicates in symbology, sound, texture, color. And one of the most effective symbols in energy medicine is the figure 8 or the infinity symbol. And again, we can use our hands as our tools, thinking of them as magnets. And when we do a symbol over our body, you're entraining the underlying energy systems to follow that pattern that you are creating. The pattern of a figure 8 or the pattern of infinity symbol means balance, means flow, means reintegration, means reset. It brings everything together. It's one of the most powerful symbols in energy medicine there is. So let's warm up our magnets. Here's our tools. Never leave home without them. Okay. And we're literally, you can either do this right on the body, or you can bring your hand out 4 to 6 inches above the body. Some of you may really be able to feel that magnetic pull. And we're going to trace a figure 8, the top of the 8 coming across the, I think I need to stand back further, across the heart chakra, the bottom of the 8 coming across the second chakra we communicated with earlier. And let's get our heart and our sensuality connected and flowing. Wake it up. Bring them together. This is our heart, our body, and mind, all working as one. Bring it alive. You can, again, bring in color to your figure 8 if you want. My go-to is always Tinkerbell fairy dust. Sorry, that's what I go to. It's gold and it's sparkly and it's magic. So let's draw our figure 8. See if you can feel the magnetic connection you are creating between these two centers. Okay, I've got 2 more exercises. I know I just want to make sure I squeeze them both in my time. The next one is a wonderful transition to what we've also done. Our root chakra is the first chakra, and this is where your core primal sexual desire resides. Okay, it's amazing. And 3 very important riverways or pathways of energies, spleen, kidney, and liver. These are yin energies. They nourish our body on every level. All 3 of these pathways, they're mapped out in traditional medicine, have to travel from our feet, come up the inside of our thighs, and literally go right through that root chakra. So if root is closed and the flow of these 3 essential meridians can't get through, it can adversely affect menstruation, fertility, and sexuality. So we need this root chakra to be beautifully opened, and we need those 3 energy systems that start in our feet to flow up our body and reach all the way up to our heart. This exercise is called the Vortex Revival. And in this one, we're going to use our hands again, and I really want you to engage with your radiant imagination. In this one, with one hand on heart, the other on second chakra, just below belly button, we're going to picture the most nourishing energy. Again, give it texture, color if you want, coming up from our feet. And picture it swirling around your body in a counterclockwise direction, like a corkscrew, going around your body. And with each breath, I want you to pull that corkscrew up, starting at your feet, so it comes all the way up to your heart. By doing this, you are opening all the main chakras and all the riverways of energy that feed into your sexuality. We'll just do this for a couple of breaths so we can move on to the last exercise. So one hand on heart, one hand on second, closing your eyes and engage with your breath. And with each breath, you imagine pulling that energy up through your feet, counterclockwise spiral, circling your body. With each breath, pull it up higher, bringing all of your sexual organs and hormones alive, bathing it in this beautiful, coherent vibration. So this exercise I often do with any client who's coming to me who's thinking about getting pregnant, wants to conceive, is pregnant, fertility issues, menstrual issues, wants to jazz up libido, vortex revival. And that was so easy. 2 hands and your beautiful imagination. You are literally changing the signature of your sexuality. Last one. Okay, you ready for this? This is this is engaging with something called our radiant circuits. Our radiant circuits are one of the most ancient energy systems known, and they are that. They are radiance. They aren't just happiness, guys. They are joy, bliss, and orgasm. That feeling of warmth and ecstasy you experience during orgasm is the ultimate sensation of your radiant circuits. And there's one that is just the most profound. We're just going to teach you one, and it holds the essence of life within you. So I'm going to show you how to trace it, and then I'm going to have you all stand up and do it with me 2 or 3 times, okay? Penetrating flow is amazing. It goes deep within us and connects with all the essential parts that we need to be healthy within in our sexual being. We start by rubbing a spot on our back, which is directly opposite of our belly button. This is called the Ming Men point, which is the gate of life. We start by rubbing this point and bringing it alive. You can do this now where you're sitting with me. This point is so essential to just well-being that if you're ever sitting at your desk for a while and starting to feel deflated and low on vitality, just start rubbing or even tapping that Ming Men point. You'll be amazed at how different you feel in a few minutes. With penetrating flow, it starts at Ming Men point. I travel down my spine to my coccyx, my tailbone. Then I come up and over my hips to my pubic bone, up the front line of my body. I cup my hands, drink it in, and then I go off, eat one arm at a time. I drag my magnet hand down the inside of my arm and off the middle finger. Other side, inside of the arm and off the middle finger. When this portion that we're tracing connects to a meridian called circulation sex, and it governs all of our hormones. So by tracing penetrating flow and then tracing circulation sex meridian, we are engaging the entirety of the picture here. But this alone, this movement, if you ever need it, off third finger, quick fix for balancing hormones. You can do it as many times as you want. There is no wrong in energy medicine. It's meant to be playful and engage you. So can everybody stand up? And we'll do this together a couple of times, okay? So find the spot on your back behind belly button. Deep breath in. Give it a rub. Stimulate Ming Men. Travel down your back to your coccyx. Now drag your hands up and over your hip bone to your pubic bone. Straight up the front line of your body. Cup your cheeks. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And now let's go down the right inside of our arm, off right finger. Left inside of the arm, off left middle finger. Give it a shake. One more time. Ready? Rubbing Ming Men. Down to coccyx. Over pubic or hips to pubic bone. Up the front midline of your body, cupping your face. Take a breath in. Exhale. Tracing off one arm, off middle finger, and the other arm off middle finger. It never hurts to end with your hands at your heart. Okay, guys, you're all turned on and ready to go. I hope you continue to explore the wonderful world of energy, because that's what you are. You are beautiful, beautiful energy. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. That was so wonderful. Oh my gosh, I think everyone probably agrees with me. They feel so embodied right now. And I think that'll be some great practices for us to be able to come back to later. So thank you so much for that. So our next section is micronutrients, and our speaker, I'm sure most of you have had the pleasure of meeting her, and it's Dr. Tara Campbell, naturopathic doctor. As she mentioned, she's founder of the Higher Health Center and also founder of this Sisterhood. Dr. Tara is someone who has such a gift of like bringing women together, bringing community together. And ever since she started this Sisterhood, I think our first one was back in February, all of us sisters really knew that she was on to something amazing. It's been so special to be part of this, coming together every week and having such inspirational conversations. So today, she will be speaking on the wonderful herb tribulus and all of its stimulating properties, and diving deep into one of our absolute favorite topics, which is hormones. So take it away, Tara.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kira. And yeah, I can't believe this is our 9th Sisterhood session, and it all started with a conversation with Kira and I about lunch and learns. And we thought, no, lunch and learns has been done. And so it is just so beautiful what's come to fruition. So I have to thank you for that too, Kira. Okay, let's go to, okay. So before we get to Dr. Stephen's sexology segment, here are 3 questions I'm going to answer today. 1, how do hormones affect your libido? 2, how can you know which hormones are off balance? And 3, is tribulus right for you? And what is tribulus? Stephen, do you know about tribulus? You can shake your head. Or you do? Oh, okay, of course you do. Okay. And I see here, you're my main screen here. Am I on speaker view?
You're my main screen.
Okay, good. I'm not sure why then. Okay, so we'll continue. So I also would just like to do a disclaimer. Remember, this is for informational purposes only. So please, before making any changes, before taking tribulus, it's really important to speak with your health provider. And there's 2 sections down at the bottom of your screen. There's Q&A and there's the chat line. So if you have specific questions, post them in the Q&A. And if we can't get to them during this call, we will absolutely respond later. So the drive to have sex is deeply personal, but it is also a product of biology. Hormones have a huge impact on your sex drive and can raise and lower your drive independent of mindset-based desires that Dr. Stephen will be speaking to. First off, it's important that you know where your hormones come from and how they flow within your body. So I really wanted to share my screen and show you the hormone schematic that I share in every visit, but I'm not going to play around with share screen again. So I can easily flow through, just follow Anne's energy medicine and visualize what I'm talking about. So the top of the food chain for hormone health starts with cholesterol. So think of a cholesterol molecule coming in. And then cholesterol goes into a hormone called pregnenolone. And pregnenolone breaks off into 2 key hormones that we talk about all the time, progesterone and DHEA. So we've got cholesterol, pregnenolone, splitting off to progesterone and DHEA. So progesterone now goes down to cortisol. So know that there's a link between progesterone and cortisol. And DHEA goes down our androgen pathways. So it goes to androgens, testosterone, and estrogen. So that's really fascinating to know that estrogen actually comes from testosterone, and testosterone comes from DHEA. And it all comes from cholesterol. So we do need that good, healthy body fat on our bodies. Okay, so the main hormone players when it comes to libido are estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, and testosterone, also cortisol. I think all the naturopaths here and others can agree that that certainly plays a role in your libido. So cholesterol, or actually, let's just talk about some symptoms that you might have that would indicate you have a hormone imbalance. And you may know these symptoms. They are so common. I think we all, at some point, have experienced hormone imbalance or even decreased libido. So fatigue, sleep disturbances, anxiety, weight gain, fertility concerns, and of course, decreased sexual desire or low libido. So if you've experienced any of these symptoms, and there's many more, then chances are your hormones are off balance, and it would be good to know exactly which hormones are off. So not only do your sex hormones have an impact on your libido, but they are also really important for regulating bone and muscle growth. They're important for inflammation and inflammatory responses within our body, and they're important for regulating cholesterol levels, for promoting hair growth, and for body fat distribution, metabolism, and weight. So we all know hormones are important, and we all know that it's so common for them to go off balance. That's why you've all joined this call today, to learn more about it. It's just an ongoing important conversation. Specifically, how do hormones affect your libido? One, so estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, testosterone, and cortisol all affect sexual desire, in that higher or lower levels will have an impact. It's not always lower that has the impact. When it comes to estrogen, it is about low. So having higher levels of estrogen in the body increases sexual desire and promotes vaginal lubrication. And so on the flip side, a decrease in estrogen will contribute to a thinner vaginal lining, dryness and irritation, and decreased desire. Progesterone really interests me because the research shows that increases in progesterone decrease libido, but here I'll watch to see if you nod. I would say a decrease in progesterone would affect your libido. So I think it's both. It's like adrenals and cortisol production. You're going to overmake and then you're going to undermake. Thyroid, you'll overmake then under. So same with progesterone. You really want it to be in the sweet spot, fueling your cortisol, making sure your whole body is working in balance, especially the estrogen progesterone pathways. Okay, so testosterone. This is where testosterone is recognized as the main sex hormone mostly in males, and we think of it for drive, motivation, oomph, and sexual desire. But it's also so important for females. So don't think testosterone is a male hormone. It's equally female. Symptoms of low testosterone would be low energy, low drive, low desire, muscle loss, depression, and less body hair. So I frequently get people mentioning they're noticing hair loss, and usually we go to thyroid and vitamin D as sources, but testosterone is really important too to look at. Then DHEA isn't mentioned a lot in the literature for libido. It's mostly testosterone, but I think DHEA is equally important. As we know, it's the top of the food chain coming down your androgen, testosterone, estrogen pathway. So all of the above hormones that I've talked about decline with age, or with overdoing it, with running yourself out of your reserves, adrenal fatigue, and mitochondrial dysfunction, which is what we talk a lot about as naturopathic doctors. So why tribulus for today? Actually, a small joke, just given where I'm at in life right now, we were brought to you by the letter T today. So tribulus, testosterone, and Dr. Tara. So remember me talking about tribulus and testosterone. Tribulus is a common weed found in many parts of the world, specifically Bulgaria, actually. And the health benefits of tribulus are to support healthy sex hormone production and reproductive function in men and women, as well as vitality, a sense of well-being, physical endurance, and stamina. All good things. So the medicinal component of tribulus is the saponins, which is one form of saponin specifically, and tribulus is protodiosine. So we won't get too technical here, but just know that this component gently stimulates the normal production of LH and FSH. It increases your testosterone, particularly leading to increased estrogen for men and for women mostly. So tribulus is augmenting testosterone, but it's also having an impact on estrogen. So when do I prescribe tribulus? when I suspect or know that someone is low in DHEA and testosterone, leading to low estrogen. I prescribe it for both men and women. And it's important to know if your own libido or hormone-based imbalances are a result of testosterone and androgens, or if it's the cortisol and adrenal pathway and progesterone pathway. And so, or even if it's a mindset component, which Dr. Stephen will touch on. So my best assessment for best treatment is a Chi hormone test. So it stands for Comprehensive Hormone Insight. And I'll let one of our prizes or gifts out of the bag. I spoke with Rocky Mountain Analytical, the lab that we do this hormone testing through, and one lucky participant on this call today will receive a free hormone test. And it's just a really advanced way to look at your hormones, not only the main hormones, but all the downstream metabolites, melatonin, oxidative stress, which is so important, and methylation. So I don't want to take away Dr. Stephen's time, because I'm also very excited to, I've never heard a sex coach speak before. There's more that I'd love to share with you, but for the purposes of today, I'll leave it at that. I hope I've piqued your interest to Tribulus and to the Chi hormone testing. And we'll announce how you can win that Chi test at the end. So without further ado, I will pass it off to Dr. Dewit. And Stephen, I have to say it, and I'm wondering if it's been included in your material. Are you Dr. Dewit?
Yes, I am Dr. Dewit. It's really funny. When I was in grade 3, the kids would make fun of me and be like, "Oh, Stephen, do it." And then, yeah, this is my world now. So it is my world, and it's something that I'm really excited to share with you and share with your community. So first of all, let me say thank you for allowing me into the sacred space of the sisterhood. So I just acknowledge that it is a sacred space, and me walking in as a man and being in that space, it's something that is an honor and also humbling. So thank you for that, and it's not lost on me that I'm in a sisterhood as a man. So thank you very much for that. The first question that usually comes up, and you may have had this, or actually first, let me welcome you into my car right now. You may be noticing it being like, what is Stephen doing? So normally, and I wish you could see it, I have my notebook propped up here. I have my iPad down here. I have a microphone set up. So it is my partner's birthday today. So we had this plan. So we're at Niagara Falls. If I turn, I'm not sure, if I turn over there, like, are the falls, like right there. So I'm like literally right here. And it's her birthday. But when Dr. Tara asked me, Stephen, can you be part of this? You know, speaking to women and working with women is something that I love and I'm so passionate about. And my girlfriend was like, no, Stephen, go do your thing. I'll go for a walk and meditate and write and do the things that she needs to do. So, so welcome to my car, and thank you for welcoming me into your community. One thing I will say, Anne, when you were doing the movement pieces, was really awesome, and I did the Vortex Revival, but I did not do my radiant circuits because a man by himself looking at his phone, touching his pubic bone, not a good look. And there's people walking by. Anyways, it was fun. So I love what I do. And one of the first questions that people ask is like, Stephen, what the heck is a sexologist? And you're in great company. My mom still asks me that question. My dad doesn't want to know the answer. But as a sexologist, my commitment is that all people live a sexually empowered life and they have relationships that work. My superpower, I like to say, is making the uncomfortable comfortable. What that looks like in my day-to-day life is I have a private practice where I work with individuals and couples and help them transform and create the sex life that they want. I used to do a lot of speaking at conferences and conventions, but these days I'm doing lots of virtual stuff like this. This is something that I love to do. And then I lead retreats. So it's the Sex Life Unleashed experience. So I do that both in person, but these days it's online. So that's what I do. I am actually trained. So I have a master's of public health with a specialization in human sexuality. I did my clinical placement at a place called the Hassle-Free Clinic in Toronto. And that's really where I cut my teeth in accepting and working with people, however they choose to express themselves, whatever's going on in their life. And that was just such a a beautiful time in my life in understanding humanity and sexuality and the combination of those two. And then I went back and did my doctorate and completed that in 2012. So that's who I am. You can call me Stephen. You don't have to call me Dr. Stephen. I use that if I'm calling like a credit card company or something like that. But when I'm here with you, you can just call me Stephen, and that's fine. If you do have questions, please put them in. I'll try and cover them. If I don't, I'll get back to you afterwards. But Dr. Tara, if I could ask you to kind of monitor that, and if there's some questions that come up and we have some time, I'd be happy to answer those. So with that being said, one of the areas that I'm so passionate about, and I think there's such an opportunity for growth, is women owning and stepping in to their sexual power and owning that voice and using that voice. So for too long, women have been suppressed, have been silenced, and have been shamed about being sexual beings. I mean, myself as a man, I still remember when, I started dating women and they would share what they were interested in sexually with me. And it was like, for me, it was like difficult. I was like, what? Like, you're not supposed to, this is supposed to be like, as a man, I'm supposed to be doing this. You think this way too? You want this way? And it was just so strange for me. And that's like a microcosm of what happens, I think, on a much broader scale for women. Now, the positive thing is things are changing. If we can look back to some of the kind of the watershed moments of like just even in media. So if we look at Sex in the City, if we look at the 50 Shades of Grey phenomenon, if we look at the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, women stepping into and owning who they are sexually and not being ashamed of it, not being ashamed of advocating and setting boundaries for themselves is so, so important. But today I want to talk about what you can do and mindset. One of the things that I focus on is sexual mental health. You may not have heard that term before, not a lot of people have, but it's how we think about ourselves sexually, how we think about sex. You may have seen the social media post on Instagram that one of the things that I say is sex happens between your ears before it happens between your legs. And so often you have negative comments, negative critiques, negative thoughts about yourself, about sex, about sexuality, about your partner, your partners, that actually continue that cycle of suppression and don't let you step in and own who you are sexually. Now, a lot of the work that I do in the Sex Life Unleashed is going back and unpacking and looking at what I call your sexual blueprint. So a lot of things that shape your sex and what sex looks like for you today have been impacted by experiences, what I call formative instances, So things that you saw, things that you were told, or things that you experienced yourself. And we carry that baggage with us to our lives. And what we also do is we pass it on to our kids. So some of the baggage that we carry is from our parents, and they got that from their grandparents and their great-great-grandparents. And so what I'm really impassioned about is having women put that baggage down and then be free to express themselves in the world. So the first point I want to share with you, now you're probably shaking your head and be like, Stephen, I know, but I'm just going to say it. Women are sexually superior to men. That's it. And I say this to men and they get all up in arms because it kind of flips what we've been told, or what at least men have been told, where in the world, men have been given more permission to be sexual and women have been given more permission to be emotional. The reality is we are a complex combination of all those factors, but women are sexually superior. All right, so if we look at the human body, so women can have multiple orgasms. The vagina is an organ of potential, so it expands and contracts as the need is. And as you age, men, we tapped out when we were like 18, and we're now trying to play catch up. As women, you have this beautiful energy inside of you that continues to evolve and grow and develop much, much later than men do. So when you're looking at mindset, and again, you may have male whatever, oh, I'm back, sorry. Whatever works for you. But if you are in a heterosexual relationship, like, own that you are the sexually superior one in that relationship. Now, don't necessarily bring that up to your partner or tell your partner unless you have that type of relationship. But when you're looking at mindset, that's the first one, is owning who you are as a woman and being the sexually superior gender. The second point that I want to share with you is owning the concept of you have a blank check for whatever you want sexually. And you're probably sitting there, I'm like, great, that sounds great, Stephen. I love blank checks. Fill it out. But really, like, as a woman, thinking about the things that you want and the things that you need. Again, for so long, women haven't had a voice. You know, I talk to women so often and they're like, well, you know, oh, it's a fascinating conversation I had with this woman. She's like, hey, Stephen, you know what? And I was like, what? She says, I'm actually having sex because I want to have sex for the first time in my life. This woman she was like 35, but her whole life she had sex because she thought she had to, because this is what women do, or like, I'm in a relationship that I have to do it, so I just do it because it's a job for me to do, and it's for my partner's pleasure. And so the concept of like looking at things and being like, oh, like I can own this, and this feels good for me, and this is what I want. So having a blank check. Now, the work that I do in the Unleashed program is how do you fill in that blank check and actually be able to cash it, right? Take it to the bank. That's really important. But it's really like, again, if you're partnered, great. You know, most people, when they are partnered, they get in what I call a sex dance. So think for yourself when I say this, you know, there's probably something that you do to initiate sex, maybe something that you say, or something that you do, or a way that you touch your partner. And that leads to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, right? Or if your partner initiates, they say something or do something or touch you in a particular way, and that leads to that next thing, that next thing, that next thing. And we get really kind of focused in that funnel of like, oh, it's sex time, we're going to pull that trigger, and then it goes down in this direction. Right? And it doesn't have to be that way. You have a blank check. One of the things that I want to offer this community is it's a gift. You don't have to fill out an email or anything else like this. I'm not building my list with you. But if you go to my website, which is drdewit.com, so DRDEWIT.com, and click on something that says sex menu, that's my gift to you. And what that is, it's a list of 256 different ways that you can sexually express yourself and connect with a partner. Now, there's like, it's in levels of spiciness. So there's mild, medium, and hot. And then there's different peppers that go with it. But it's an opportunity for you. And again, if you don't have a partner, cool. This is about developing your sexual self-awareness. The most important, the most valuable, the most reliable sexual relationship you'll ever have in your entire life is the one you have with yourself. It's the one that you were born with, that you started with, and quite frankly, the one that you're going to end with. So understanding that about yourself is really important. So DRDEWIT.com, and just click on the sex menu, download it. It's my gift to you. But that's something where you can go through by yourself and fill it out. And there's columns where you can check off whether you've had experience or not in that. Willingness, which is 0, which is like, oh, hell no, I don't want that, Stephen. What are you talking about? There's going to be stuff that you're going to be like, oh my God, I want that yesterday. How do I do that? So 0 is going to be like, I don't want it. 5 is going to be like, yes, I do want that. And then there's going to be notes and nuances. So what you can do if you do have a partner, you fill it out, they fill it out, and then you come together and you can share that. Or if you're single, totally cool. Keep that for yourself. And then when you do have a partner, get them to fill it out. And that facilitates a conversation of like, what are you going to fill in that blank check? Okay. For those of you who are single, holla at you. It is an amazing time to be single and challenging given it's COVID. So how are you meeting people? How are you connecting with people? But as a single woman, I encourage you, when you are looking to date or you are looking for a hookup or a one-night stand or a lifetime partner, whatever it is, there's no judgment here, is you have that conversation and you advocate for yourself early on in the relationship about what your sexual needs are and practice using your sexual voice. Because I work with women who've been, married for 25 years and they've never told their partner that they haven't had an orgasm before, or they've never told their partner, better yet, of like what actually allows them to orgasm and allows them to release and share that really sacred time with one another. So use the sex menu. It's for you. And think of like, hey, I have a blank check. How do I fill that out? How do I own that power? One of the other things that's there, and I just want to be responsible for time, is looking how we allow ourselves and you allow yourself to evolve and to change sexually. So as human beings, we're going to go through lots of different jobs. I don't know, there's 5 different careers or whatever. Our bodies are going to change and evolve as we get older. But our sex is for a lot of people, just very narrow and focused. And this is what it has to be. And if it doesn't look like what it was 5 years ago, or if it doesn't look like what it was when it was 20 years ago, I don't know about you guys, but I don't look like I looked like I was when I was 20 years ago. I've lost a few things and gained a few things. I've gained a few pounds and lost some hair, right? But we change. And our sexuality changes. So the third mindset piece is thinking about evolving and having a growth mindset about sex. And what I mean by that is what honors you and what works for you in your body now doesn't have to be what it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And be open that it may change in 5 years, in 10 years, in a year, in a month. And the thing that turns you on, it gets you excited, gets you wet, gets you want to have that connection, wants you to have that sex, could be different. And be open to that and be kind to yourself. Because again, the number one sexual relationship is the one that you have with yourself. It's the conversations that you have in your head, that constant montage of words and things that have gone on, and you want to start interrupting the negative ones and start substituting the really positive and powerful ones, so you can continue to have that amazing sex life way, way, way into the future. And there are things specifically for women that you'll go through as far as motherhood, as far as aging, that has an impact. And society says, well, if you're this age or if you're a mom, you got to focus on this. And listen, I get after having kids and exhaustion and hormones and what your body goes through, and there's an impact there on your sex life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the mental part of it, of like, oh, I need to put this away or pack this away. You don't have to. And, the age bit, it's so funny. I always ask this question is like, how many people want to think about 2 90-year-olds having sex? Probably not a lot of hands went up, or people that are like, yeah, Stephen. And listen, if that's your jam, cool. But how many of you want to have amazing sex when you're 90 years old? More hands probably went up. So reconstructing that sexuality of like, my body has to look this way. I have to think about sex this way. I have to be a particular way sexually because society or the messages that I received said this is sexual and it's okay for me as a woman to be sexual now. But as my body looking like this, or I'm a mom, or I have kids, or I'm focused on my career, whatever, then I can't. No, none of that. Have that growth mindset. Have that mindset of evolving and growing constantly in your life, and that will serve you well in your life. I'm going to hit pause there because I'm 1 minute over my time. But thank you. If you have questions, please let me know. If you are interested in the Unleashed program, what you can do is you can just on Instagram DM me and just write Unleashed, or email me and just write Unleashed, and then I can get back to you and let you know more about that. But that's all my time unless there's questions. Dr. Tara, thank you for letting me again share this sacred space. And with that, I'm complete.
Oh, wow. I mean, I think this is such an important topic that has not been talked about enough. And so I feel like we can set this up weekly and just explore this further. It is so important. And I was thinking as you were speaking, sex begets sex hormones. And
Yeah.
I said that they both go hand in hand. And when you feel you're thriving internally with your relationship with yourself, your sex hormones will thrive too, and your sex life will thrive. So it just goes hand in hand and builds confidence and all the things we've talked about, inner glow, outer glow. So the philosophy at Higher Health, Stephen, is love, thrive, grow. And what you spoke about today just fits right in line with that. I love it. And I'm sure people will be contacting you and looking up your spicy menu, which that sounds so neat as well. So thank you again. And I can't wait to have a personal interview with you that we'll also share on our YouTube chat line. We'll be digging deeper into this topic as it applies to mindset and higher health. So I posted that YouTube link in the chat, as well as Dr. Dewit's website. We'll continue to provide these resources. And so it's gift time, and I will say this super quick and we can go on our day, and Stephen, you can go kiss your birthday girl. So we have Deanna McConey. Sorry, I just brought you up to give a wave. Deanna is our Pilates practitioner. She's also a Qigong medical practitioner and a canine massage therapist. She's just the best, and she has offered tonight a Pilates class at 5:30, complimentary for everyone in the sisterhood. So if you're curious to get your radiant energy circuits going further, I'm sure you will get that going in Pilates as well. So we will share that info with you, and you can DM us as well in case we can't communicate it in time. So 5:30 tonight. And then Lisa Novambra, our Ashtanga yoga practitioner, we're sharing our movement pieces further. Lisa is going to be doing an ongoing yoga class on Wednesdays at 7:30, where she will actually teach you how to do sun salutations that we've talked so much about, and we will build on your yoga practice. So if you're curious at all, that is also free to you as sisters and our growing movement, we'll call it. And then the last gift is the Chi hormone test, which I got the email today saying they can donate a complimentary test. And in thinking how I would award this test to the winner, I would love for you to email me your hormone symptoms, any symptoms. It can be very simple, hot flushes, headaches, doesn't have to be elaborate. Just it's to get your ballot in the draw so that we will draw a name from those emails, and we will contact you about your free Chi kit. And if you have questions for any of us, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, we have our YouTube channel, we have our Higher Health community, we have a growing sisterhood of awesomeness, and now we have a brother in the sisterhood. And I hope you have an awesome day. And Olga, can you just say those 3 words again to send people off? I'm unmuting you. You might be busy with someone at the front desk. So we said nourishment, bonding, and life, right? Did I get them all?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Sisters.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.